Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS producer Sydney Bowles, BNEWS reporters Robert Paris and Chris Flaherty, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, and Anthony Matos with sports. Thank you for joining us. Dozens of early voting ballots from Precinct 1 and Precinct 5 were not counted in Burlington's April 6th local election, according to an update from Town Clerk Amy Warfield. Warfield reports that about 49 ballots from Precinct 1 and 67 uncounted ballots from Precinct 5 were missed, with a total of 116 votes. In a statement, Warfield said, and I quote, "It is my responsibility to ensure that all ballots received before the close of polls are counted." She continued, "Because the total number of ballots uncounted exceeds the margin of victory for some positions, I have taken the steps required to make sure they are counted. This includes seeking a court order, as required by Massachusetts general law, to permit me to reopen the sealed ballot boxes. Unfortunately, this process took much longer than expected." Among the potentially impacted races are Precinct 1 and Precinct 5 town meeting seats, as well as the school committee race. In that race, Megan Wojcik unseated Martha Simon by just 90 votes. Speaking to BNews, both candidates said they appreciated Amy Warfield's thoroughness in finding and responding to the problem. Simon said she doubted the outcome would change. Candidates impacted in races have been notified. A meeting for counting the ballots has also been scheduled for Tuesday, April 30th at 2 p.m. in the Town Hall's main hearing room. Another change in federal rules around PFAS exposure could impact how Burlington treats its drinking water. You may recall Burlington spent millions of dollars, $15 million exactly, on its PFAS filtration system, which is currently up and running at Mill Pond and working quite well, according to DPW Director Brian White. But when those filters were installed, the limit for how much of the toxic forever chemicals could be in the water was 20 parts per trillion under state rules. Now the national rules are stricter, just 4 parts per trillion. That's per trillion. That means Burlington may have to replace the resin inside those filters more often, likely about once a year instead of once every 12 months. Brian White is asking town meeting for $1.2 million for the project in May's town meeting. He says its costs include the price of disposing of the material. Let's look.
What we're hearing is that a lot of landfills aren't going to take it because of the contamination. So there's currently available to us 2 places to haul it to incinerate. There's one place in New England. If that place doesn't accept it, it has to be railed down to like Alabama, I believe.
'Tis the season for large financial warrant articles, where town departments ask town meeting for big expenses that don't necessarily fit in their operating budgets. 2 of those came from the Parks and Recreation Department, and both received unanimous support from the Select Board this week. In the first warrant article, Parks and Recreation Director Brendan Egan said the town plans to redevelop Overlook Park.
One of the big items with the grant is accessibility. They're looking to make sure people have access to outdoor recreation facilities and that they are accessible. So we are looking at redeveloping basically the Overlook Park site. The existing buildings will stay. We will be adding a new playground, accessible trails that will get a person with that may have a mobility issue with a disability up to the top, which, as anyone that's been up there knows, that's kind of the best view in the good weather. You can catch the city of Boston.
Egan is requesting $2.3 million from town meeting for the project, but as you just saw, he's hoping Burlington will be awarded a federal grant that would reimburse the town up to $1 million for the project. He's requesting $2.3 million from town meeting. And in a separate warrant article, Egan is asking for $200,000 as a first of what he plans to be an annual ask for regular ongoing updates to town playing fields and parks. He says it would allow for the regular maintenance and upkeep that doesn't fit in the budget, but adds to the overall feel of rec facilities.
We'd be able to do things, including top dressing programs on all of our athletic fields. What top dressing does is put sand, overlays sand onto the field, and then it gets dragged in. It Eventually, over time, as you do it yearly, it builds up, so you have a nice level playing surface, and there's not these bumps and divots and everything. But it's something we should be doing yearly. Renovating existing fields we have a lot of, Little League fields that were built in low-lying areas that were just built in the 70s and 80s, and we just continue to maintain what's there. They're not level, they don't drain well, and they don't have the correct infield mix or fill there as well. So this would allow us to start going through those and renovating those. Obviously making accessibility improvements at each of our fields. When a lot of fields were developed and parks were developed in town, accessibility wasn't thought of, right? But now it's a major thing, and it's a major factor in our department, in decision-making in our department.
Egan says it would be a similar annual warrant article like the street fund, sidewalk fund, and stream cleaning fund. And an additional high-profile warrant article earned unanimous select board this week, the planning board's proposal to comply with the MBTA Communities Act. Now, for those who need a refresher, the MBTA Communities Act requires 177 municipalities, including Burlington, to create zoning districts in which multifamily housing is permitted by right. In Burlington, we're required to create at least 50 acres. And working with a team from across government and industry, Planning Director Liz Bonventre drafted a plan comprising zoning overlays on existing multifamily areas and a small section of Middlesex Turnpike along the Great Meadow. Some view it as the state overreaching into local zoning. Milton and Marshfield have rejected the MBTA order. Others say it doesn't go far enough in increasing multifamily housing. Select Board member Sarah Cawley addressed both those concerns on Monday night.
I understand and sympathize with both of those points of view. But the fact is, this is a law on the books, and we stand to lose a lot if we do not comply. Not just, a few $1 million, many millions of dollars in state funding for projects, including MWRA. So, if we fight it, that is a risk that I do not think that we should be taking as a town. We've done a lot, like my fellow board member said, as a town to promote multifamily housing. I think we can do more, and we will, but this plan allows us to do that in our way as a town while also complying with the law.
If you're not getting the sense that there's a lot of important stuff coming up in May's town meeting, just wait. The new police station, the 127-year-old old police station, is up for debate as well. 2/3 of town meeting members are needed to support the funding for the new station, which is expected to cost about $46 million and will need a bond issue. In a monthly update with BNews this week, Town Administrator Paul Sagarino says it's high on his list of priorities.
We have the best police department in the state, and I think it's well beyond time to provide them with a facility that is as good as they are. And I'm really looking forward to having that discussion at town meeting, and we're very hopeful for a favorable result. And it really it's something I've been thinking long and hard about for a while, and I'm just really hopeful for a positive outcome there.
And if you're looking to keep up with the police station building project more closely, the committee and the designers have launched a website where you can follow all the latest developments. newpolicestationbuildingproject.org. Our crack staff has that up for you. We'll wait a second so you can copy that down. There you can find preliminary sketches of the outside and plans for the interior, as well as updates on the current condition of the building. This week, many Jewish members of our community marked Passover, which celebrates the Israelites' exodus from slavery in Egypt. Rabbi Susan Abramson of Temple Shalom Emeth shared the significance of this year's holiday with us in studio earlier this week.
This year, practically every single symbol of the Passover Seder has taken on additional meaning and very personal meaning for us, because we feel, after October 7th, we feel that we were attacked and oppressed in a very particular way. And then subsequent to that, we feel like the people in Gaza are victims as well. And so we feel for our own people who are killed, we feel for the innocent lives which have been lost among those who we were fighting against. And it goes way beyond that because, so we're supposed to eat bitter foods at a Passover Seder. It's called maror, which means bitter. And so we feel the bitterness of this point in time and how we're all feeling embittered in so many ways. And in the Seder it says, let all who are hungry come and eat. And we think about all those starving in Gaza right now. And we think about all the people who we're supposed to break a matzah, the flatbread that we eat, and we break it to form the afikomen, and which is, it's called dessert, but we feel like we're broken in a very particular way this year, and we're separated from parts of ourselves which used to be intact, and we also feel like we're separated from some friends and neighbors who we just feel our relationship has been broken with them because people have differing opinions, and people sometimes blame us as Jews for everything that Israel does. And so there's so many ways in which this year all the symbolism takes on a very personal meaning.
Happy Passover to our Jewish friends and family. Keep an eye out for a special paper bag in your mail in the coming days. It's a sign your mail carrier is participating in what is the National Association of Letter Carriers calls the nation's largest one-day food drive. On May 11, you can fill up that bag and leave it by your mailbox, and your letter carrier will deliver it to People Helping People, Burlington's food pantry. Participation by each postal worker is optional, but if your mail carrier isn't participating, you can still deliver a bag of non-perishable goods to the food pantry on your own. That's not the only thing going on at the food pantry. Before the Stamp Out Hunger Drive on May 5th, People Helping People will be participating in the Project Bread 56th Annual Walk for Hunger. They'll be among some 3,500 people on the Boston Common marching to raise money for food security. From a challenge facing humanity to a challenge facing trees, beech trees specifically, in 2022, Burlington joined the list of communities where experts had identified beech leaf disease, a condition in which microscopic parasites sap nutrients away from the trees and weaken them, eventually leading to their deaths. According to Daniel Cohen, an arborist with Hartney, Graymond, and Needham, you can identify the disease in beech trees by looking for dark green or black bands in the leaves. And if you do find it, you can call an arborist or report the sighting to the Mass Department of Conservation and Recreation. The loss of beloved community member Al Fay, who passed away this January, is still being felt throughout the town, and his absence is strongly felt in the Rotary Club community. Al was remembered recently by the Rotary Club Special Olympics basketball team, and Chris Flaherty has the story.
The town of Burlington came together recently to mourn the loss of longtime community member and public servant Al Fay, who passed away in January. Al was heavily involved with many community organizations, including the Burlington Rotary Club and the Burlington Pride Special Olympics basketball team.
This was Al's passion, and he was here every Thursday. And at the funeral mass, his family that did the eulogy even said Thursday night was his favorite night.
Al was devoted to this. He talked about everything he wanted to do for these children and these adults and just be there for them, and everything that he did to make this such a special event, and it has grown to what it is now.
Towards the end of his life, Al was presented with a special basketball signed by the players in appreciation of his constant support of the team. During their April 11th practice, the Fay family presented the team with personalized jackets in memory of Al.
He had wanted to do something special for the boys. He loved to come down here, and we were trying to think of something that would be good for the kids, and that they would remember Al by. So we came up with the jackets. I hope they enjoy them and can remember Al by that. He loved to come, and he didn't play basketball or anything, but he'd sit there and he'd cheer them on, and yeah, it was very special to him.
The athletes shared with BNews memories of their time with Al. Many look fondly back on the rolling rally to Bedford Farms atop his fire truck.
My favorite memory of him is probably doing the Burlington fire truck, and the rolling rally, and going to Bedford Fonts and ice cream.
When we have the fire truck over the summer, it was a good memory. Go on ice cream truck rides to fire truck to go to ice cream in Bedford, and good memory before his passing, and that's a good memory to remember from Al. Great guy.
Best thing I can say about Al, he was loved by all the athletes here. When he walked in that door, everybody stopped and ran over to him like he was the mayor of the floor. He was respected and loved by everybody.
The athletes also shared their love and appreciation for their new team jackets.
I think they're good, remembering when he was a nice guy, when we saw him in all the good times.
Yeah, the Blue Jackets were really nice. My favorite part, not just the name on the sleeve, but the logo on the back saying "Forever in Our Hearts, Al Fay." We really like the design, and I'm gonna wear it to work tomorrow.
John Tuccinardi says Al Fay's dedication to Rotary Special Olympics will have a lasting impact on the team and their families.
He was like their grandfather. He was like my grandfather that we didn't have. So we just always remember him being here to every practice, to every event, the Halloween party, the Christmas party, the ice cream social, everything. He was in charge of almost all of those events. And these athletes, they have excellent memories. They will never forget Al and the kindness that he showed not only to them but to their families as well.
Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNEWS Weekly.
Do we know it's spring because the leaves are blossoming on the trees, because there are flowers out and about around town? No. We know it's spring because the Parks and Recreation Department puts on the Springapalooza. Robert Paris takes us there.
Bubbles, animals, and plants could be seen at Wildwood Park for the Spring Fling event organized by the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department.
This is kind of our kickoff event for Springapalooza, which is events we run throughout May. So we invite some of our Burlington groups that are, spring outdoorsy, like the Conservation Department, Garden Club, brought in some vendors. We have Vinny the Bubble Guy here. We have McDonnie's Petting Zoo. So we're just trying to find an excuse for people to get outside in this beautiful weather.
Parks and Rec work closely with the other organizations in town, such as the Conservation Commission, Board of Health, and the Burlington Public Library.
One of the initiatives that we've had is to be more collaborative with other departments. Things that we put together was Springapalooza. I believe it's probably been 4 or 5 years now. So Conservation has a couple events that they put on and we help promote, same with the library too, with a lot of things. And then this is just kind of one of the things that we put on, and they come and support us and provide some entertainment for everybody.
The spring and summer brochure has a wide variety of programs and activities for all ages. Jeff loved seeing everyone from the community show their support for the events.
I think it's a great event. It's one of the smaller events that we do, but it's just, we couldn't have lucked out better with the weather, and it's just, like I said, a good excuse for people to get outside and have fun.
From Wildwood Park, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Make way for ducklings, or in this case, goslings. The Burlington Fire Department this week executed a rescue straight out of a storybook, saving 3 baby goslings from a storm drain on Mall Road. A crew stopped traffic so firefighter Michael Bennett could grab the 3 geese from the drain, while firefighter Eric Fitzgerald kept them safe in a cardboard box till they could be released to their family across the street. Chief Andrew Conity commended the firefighters on their service, saying the department is committed to protecting lives in the community, no matter how small. And now we turn to Anthony Matos for a look at sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos in this weekly sports report. Girls softball competed with the Wilmington Wildcats during April vacation, and we go to the highlights.
It was a warm and blustery day at Marvin Field when the Wilmington Wildcats came to town. Burlington got the first score of the day in the bottom of the first, with a run by Morgan Ryan to home plate, 1-0 Devils. Wilmington came alive in the top of the third, scoring 3 runs, 3-1 Wildcats.
That is a shot center field, right center field. That is going to drop for a base hit. Tazek grabs it. That is going to clear the bases, and it will. This is clearing single. Base clearing single.
The score remained the same until the bottom of the fourth when Catherine Geswell ran to home plate 3-2. In the top of the 5th inning, Wilmington scored 3 runs, making the score 6-2. The Devils had one more run in the bottom of the sixth, 6-3, before Wilmington had their last score in the top of the seventh. The final at Marvin was 7-3 Wilmington.
The team is now 5-4 after a 7-0 loss against Bedford and a 13-4 win over Belmont. Burlington will be at Woburn Memorial on April 26th. As of this taping, the game is still to be played. Burlington baseball lost 9-8 against Wilmington on April 19th. The Devils are 3-5 after a close 4-3 loss to Belmont on April 24th. As of this taping, the game against Woburn Memorial is still to be played. Girls lacrosse are 6-3 after back-to-back wins over Boston Latin 13-8 and Lexington 8-7. Here's who scored the goals in the game. Trelise Collins, Jill Gillis, CJ Tremblay, Elizabeth Delory, and Emma Steiner. Alex Fowler, Tremblay, Collins, Delory, Gillis, and Ashley Pinkham scoring the Lexington game. The Devils won over Watertown 12-8 on April 24th and will compete against Melrose on April 26th. As of this taping, the game is still to be played. Boys lacrosse had big wins over Waltham 14-1 and 18-5 over Bedford, improving their record to 6-3, as well as a 19-2 win in Watertown on the 24th. Burlington will compete with Melrose on April 26th. Girls tennis are now riding a 5-game winning streak, moving their record to 4-1 after a 3-2 against Wilmington. Single winner in the game was Sharia Patel. Doubles winners were Jules Piscitelli and Alessia Pedruzzi, and Phoenix Mahoney and Therese Kaczynski. On April 24th, the team defeated Stoneham 4-1. Burlington will be competing against Belmont on April 26th. Boys tennis moves to 4-2 after a 2-3 loss to Wilmington on April 22nd and a win against Stoneham, 5-0 shutout on April 24th. Both teams compete with Belmont on April 26th. Girls track are 2-1 this season after a huge 107-26 win over Watertown on April 23rd. Boys track had a big win as well, 123-13. They now stand at 3-0. Both the teams will be back at Varsity Field on April 30th with Wakefield Memorial. Boys volleyball was home against Arlington on the 23rd. We go to the highlights.
Jim, the Red Devil volleyball team did battle with their Middlesex League rival, the Arlington Spy Ponders. Arlington defeated Burlington in 3 sets, with the Devils scoring 18 points in the first and 15 points in the second and third. This was the second win of the season for the Arlington Spy Ponders.
Burlington continues this week with 2 more matches against Lexington and Salem. As is taping, both games are still to be played. Unified Basketball began the season with a close but big 65-61 win over Melrose on the 22nd. Their record stands at 1-0 and will be in Watertown on the 29th. For more IW action, go to bcattv.org/sports or check out our Twitter page at BNEWS Sports. It's all for now. I'm Anthony Matos, back to you guys in the studio.
Now let's turn to Peter Brown for a look at the weather, and stay tuned for your community calendar with Gretchen Carey. And as an extra this week, we're bringing you a quick bit of video from the first annual Girl Scout cookie baking competition, where 13 teams of girls, about half of whom are from Burlington, battled to create the best recipe using Girl Scout cookies as an ingredient.
Hello everyone, this is Peter Brown with Orchestra Weather. Now starting out our period on Friday, we're going to be seeing temperatures that are again pretty cool for this time of the year. Pretty much what we've been seeing over the past few days here, almost the past week in the Burlington area, with our highs starting out only in the upper 50s when we should be in the mid 60s. Now as we get in towards the end of next period, the start of May, we should be seeing temperatures at this time of the year getting up near 70, and actually I think we're going to be right around that as we end out next week. And of course, as we get closer and closer to summer, our length of day keeps getting longer and longer. We have some great time to be able to get out there after work and enjoy those nice warm days. So as we go ahead, let's take a look what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us in terms of temperatures and precipitation as we head out towards the end of April. Looking at our temperature map, they're expecting us to have a good chance of above average temperatures. I'm seeing that as well. Again, nothing crazy warm like all of those of us who love that hot weather out there. We're not going to be seeing any temperatures way up in the 80s, but some very nice temperatures out there for our flowers and trees. Now, as we look at our precipitation chances, they're looking at us to have about an average chance of precipitation, so normal rainfall coming up over the next 7 to 10 days. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up. And again, starting our period on Friday, going to be kind of chilly out there still, especially in the morning if you're going out. Don't think we're going to be seeing any more frost on the cards, but keep an eye out. It's going to be down in the mid to low 30s Friday morning as you head out there. Temperatures then rebounding into the upper 50s. Now, as we get into Saturday, going to be a beautiful day out there. The sun's going to be out. Temperature's going to be in the mid 60s, so really beautiful. Now, as we get into Sunday, you're going to see actually a little bit more humidity coming into the area, maybe a chance of a spot shower as temperatures get up to near 70. That's going to continue as we start out the work week, Monday and Tuesday. Chance of some spotty showers here and there. Temperatures in the low 70s. Temperatures will cool off a little bit on Wednesday as the sun comes back out, going only though down into the upper 60s. And then by Thursday, looks like that sun is going to be blazing out there, and temperatures really nice in the lower 70s. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
What did you get? Peanut butter patties. Okay, that's the only peanut butter patties. Second place overall. My first place by 1 point. So 141 points are the Gray Senators. Which means the S's have won.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your Community Calendar. On May 3rd from 7 to 11 p.m., the Rotary Club of Burlington will be having a new bingo night at the Elks Club of Woburn. For more information and to register, go to the following website. Also on May 3rd from 7 to 11 p.m., Help Us will be celebrating May as the month of kindness at the Burlington American Legion. For more information and to register, go to the following website. On May 5th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., People Helping People will be having a Walk for Hunger for Project Bread at the BHS Varsity Field Track. For more information, go to our website. For more community calendar events, go to bcattv.org, burlingtonpubliclibrary.org, and burlingtonrecreation.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your Community Calendar.
And as we do every week, we are ending with a photo sent in by a member of the community. And this one sticks with our Feathered Friends theme from earlier. Mary Leach sent in this photo of ducks enjoying the nice weather at Mill Pond. Thank you, Mary. If you have a photo you'd like to share featured here, or share with the community and us, email it to us at bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. That's the program for this week. Thanks for tuning in. We leave you with some images of a recent high school music department field trip. Thanks to Elizabeth Holmgren for those images. I'm Phil Gallagher, and we'll see you here next week. Thank you.